WACP, the place to be, for we are creative people. And some place to be. We have some very vital guests on the phone, and we would like to share them and their conversation with you this afternoon, this morning, this day, and this hour. We have on the phone, live and direct, with us our doctor, our chief, Elder OSIRUS. And to introduce him, we have on the line also our daughter, our goddess, Isis herself, Universal Divine Isis. Can you come in, please?
Greetings, beloved Hassan.
Greetings.
Chief Elder Cyrus, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. What's up to everybody?
Yes, what's up to you?
I will be introducing Chief Elder Osiris' bio. As Chief Elder Osiris always says, in honor of our African ancient cosmic, Ebonite, spiritually divine ancestors, Honorable Marcus Garvey, our African political prisoners in our beloved Africa, I introduce Honorable Mighty Warrior Chief Elder Osiris Akibia bio to you. Chief Elder Osiris, Garveyite, National Representative, Sankofa Repatriation Movement, Pan-African International Movement, Black Pan-African Nationalist, ex-radio show on Harambe Radio, ex-Afro-America columnist, Afro-America, ex-Asante Shakur columnist, Desti.com columnist. Education, AA, BA, Political Science, Sociology, Diploma, Executive Management. Activities, served as Chairman of the Young Adult Council NAACP, early 60s, Chairman and State Chairman of the Congress of Racial Equal CORE in the 70s, Founder and Executive Director of the Florida National Black United Fund, Founder and Chief Elder of the Pan-African International Movement, Founder and Chief Elder of the Sankofa Repatriation Movement. Political experience, candidate for the City Council of Orlando, Florida. First black man to run for the mayor of Orlando, Florida. Talk shows appearances, Larry King, Geraldo, University of Florida Television. Religious experiences, formal Pentecostal Baptist ordained minister, pastor of several churches, presently African Hierophant spiritualist master teacher, ancient Nubian theology, an authority in ancient African Our Story. Travel international, Africa, Ghana, Europe, London, Geneva, Switzerland, United Nations, Geneva, Switzerland, delivered an address on reparation, repatriation, and nation-state for descendants of chattel slavery before Working Committee of the UN. Human Rights Commission, a follower of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, organizer and advocator of Back to Africa, author of three books, Lies About God, My God the Creator, and Divine Spirituality. Distinguished black leader of which Chief Elder Osiris has had the honor of interacting with personally. Philip Randolph, Roy Wilkin, Executive Director of the NAACP in the 60s, Dr. John Henry Clark, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Chief Elder Osiris is available for public speaking and lectures at colleges and universities. Chief Osiris said, "Yes, I have walked arm locked with Roy Wilkins, the Executive Director of the NAACP at that time. I was the State Youth Advisor in Florida, for the NAACP and served as local and state chairman of the Congress of Racial Equality Corps at the beginning time of the 1970s. Many marches I organized and led in Orlando, Florida, and did walk picket lines in Florida and other cities in the country, and did lead a delegation from Florida to the Gary, Indiana Black Political Convention, and did participate in many boycotts against segregation. So I am mentioning these activities, plus many more, just to inform you that my life has been active in pursuit of dignity, respect, and change for black people in this country for a long time. And when I speak from experience, and not to be some armchair plaintiff, having no intentions to ever leave the comfort of my living room. Chief Osiris, I know this is a brief introduction about you. Feel free to add on to this bio as you introduce your topic, which is TRAYVON Martin and the signs of the times in our people's lives. Thank you, Honorable Chief Elder Osiris, for joining us in this much-needed dialogue our people need. You have the floor, Honorable Chief Osiris, until you have shared all you need to share with us. And again, thank you for your presence in the midst of our people.
Wow. We'd like to thank you, Goddess Isis, for that wonderful introduction. I mean, like, woo! That is awesome. A man of our time, our day, who have lived through all of that and right here, right now with us live and direct to talk about something very vital to us. And you have the floor, Honorable Chief Osiris. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be introduced by Goddess Isis. I'm very humbled. And I'm just ready to get on with the show and let us share and discuss the type of information that I'm sure most and many black people have not heard before regarding ourselves and what it is we must do to bring about the liberation of the African people and reclaim the continent of Africa. So I'm yours, my brother.
Wow. You know, this is such an honor, and I'm just open up to start off with the conversation that people are having all over the planet. There's been so much going on that have caught the headlines, but the top priority on the headlines right now is the murder of our brother, TRAYVON Martin, and the non-arrest of his murderer. Can you speak on that?
Well, you know, this is nothing new to me. You know, I have been around for a while. I'm 74 years old, young.
Young, yes.
And soon be 75.
All right, then.
And so I've seen a lot. And I've gone to many funerals pertaining to our young black men being murdered at the hands of law enforcement.
Mm.
So this is nothing new to me. I came up in the early 60s in a time where segregation was a reality. As a matter of fact, I was born no more than about 100 years ahead of the actual implementation of child slavery. So I am aware of the affliction and the oppression our people is confronted with. And I have witnessed many of us who claim to be leaders take advantage of the affliction our people is enduring and have endured just for the sake of self-elevation.
Mm.
The black so-called leaders I'm making reference to. So what I will share with black people will be information we are not familiar with.
Mm.
Not that we are not in a position of having the potential to understand and to call up this information I will share, but because of the fact that the oppressor, who are well aware of who we are as black people, made it their business to, in their mind forever, have the divine truth about ourselves to be suppressed, and for us never to be able to resurrect that type of knowledge concerning ourselves.
Mm.
So not until we are capable and able to remember who it is that we are and from whence we come, we will forever dwell within the pits of ignorance, believing that we are on the road to recovery when we are not. Because the only thing that will bring about recovery, bring about the liberation of black people, is the information that is enclosed within our divine mind. And that mind, at the work of the oppressor, has been suppressed and planted so deep and have a profane mind to rest upon it to the extent that what we now believe that we know, we take it to be the truth of the matter when it's not. So when I'm sorry, go ahead, my brother.
Oh, no, I was going to ask the relationship between what you just said and the story that broke on this case. I mean, it appears as if somebody just did something and put a spin on it to attract the minds of our people to look at this one incident and put all of our energy into that incident and forsake something else. Is this what you're saying, or tell us about that?
No, the reaction
Okay.
we're getting from black people is the positive one.
Okay.
But it must be placed in its proper perspective.
Okay.
Many times I have seen black people rally around issues that we can identify with and end up being, we participate just for the pump and show and the entertainment of it.
Wow.
And never have a legitimate goal in mind we as black people should strive to reach.
Or a solution.
That's the solution. So I'm mindful of the fact when I see the mobilization of black people around the death of TRAYVON Martin. Is it a rallying for liberation, for freedom, for the black people in America? Is it just a fad and a fashion of the day?
That will go away and nobody ever really have anything really concretely accomplished, even if you get the man arrested or whatever that particular thing is, the situation is still open for it to happen again.
The issue transcends the arresting of Zimmerman. If we are really on the verge of becoming mobilized towards a target, towards a goal and a destiny that will forever prevent this type of incident from happening ever again. Like men and daughters. And that's the way we need to look at this situation.
So what I'm hearing you say is that if everything be as it should be, this should be used or utilized as an opportunity to organize much further than just this particular one incident, but something that's everlasting that we can take and put on and pass on to our children and our children's children. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, I mean, it's obvious that the death of this young man has been served as a catalyst that is attracting the mobilization and the activities that we see now going on throughout the country.
Okay.
Like people's coming together.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is, there is no freedom, there is no justice, there is no liberation in just black folks coming together to voice their opposition to this particular incident.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We need to be coming together with a clear path in sight, knowing that there is a destination we must put in our focus.
The marching orders.
And there must be a goal that we must commit to reach.
Mm.
And that goal must be freedom from this type of activity. Because as it stands now, when it comes to black people and our activity and us voicing our opposition to things that we don't quite agree with, we do so within the context that we can resolve that matter in America, remain here, and life will resume as is.
Mm.
And if that is the case, everybody needs to go and sit down and continue to be the type of black folks we've been made to be. And that is to be submissive, that is to be obedient, and never to entertain the thought of ever becoming free from this type of activity that TRAYVON Martin had encountered here in America. So what I am sharing is that it's time for black people to put up a shield against this type of activity and to focus on a true and viable solution to the problem we face here in America. And that focus must be freedom. Because without freedom, there would be no justice. We yell justice without cooperating what is needed the most by black people, which is freedom from America. But we will not entertain that thought because we do not have the quality and caliber of mind that will have us to entertain such thought. Therefore, whatever we do, however we believe, however we use the mind that the white man has placed within us, only serve not to the liberation of black people, but to the continued degradation of black people. And to be focused on such a level, which is very low in terms and in comparisons to the mind that we came here with. There is no aspiring future of the day that would benefit the lives of our children, of our elders, and of our ladies, that will give us consolation,
All right.
peace,
Well,
and joy in life.
Well, let's just go over what you have said and make sure that we can get a perfect understanding, overstanding, balance of what you're saying. We experienced from your mouth these words: put up a shield, focus on a solution, freedom from this type of activity. Let us not be so submissive and obedient. And without freedom, there's no justice. Can we use that as a summation to move forward?
Very accurately.
All right, then.
that is the case as it pertains to black people in this country, and not only in this country, wherever we are.
All right, then.
Because when it all boils down, until we are able to resurrect the mind that we came here with, and I keep using the term came here with because I am of the knowledge from whence we come.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one problem, major problem, that we as black people have, and that is not knowing who we are and from whence we come. And until we get a clear and uninterrupted, precise vision of who we are as black people, where we came from, what it is that we established upon this earth, in this solar system, until we master that knowledge, we will continue to be the tool of the oppressor. Because without self-knowledge, the enemy becomes self-ignorance. And in the bowels of self-ignorance, there is no justice, and there is no freedom. At the present time, that is where black people reside, within the bowels of injustice, in captivity, living a life based upon belief and never knowing what it is we need to do in order to reclaim our divine mind and to be able to live the life that we once lived, based upon complete freedom, complete justice, in peace. But you would find many black people today who believe that such a utopian type of life cannot ever be reached.
The American
It is
dream.
unreachable. Yes. But the black life transcends dreams and is based upon the vision of reality, which reveals to us the actuality in terms of who we really are. We move around on this earth claiming to be goddesses and gods, but yet don't understand when the hell we are claiming to be.
Wow.
We came out from the loins of goddesses and gods, whom I refer to as our ancient cosmic divine first way ancestors. When I say first way, I'm talking about those of our ancestors who first came to this solar system and eventually to this planet we now refer to as Earth, which means that they came from another solar system in this galaxy. But you tell that to black people, they think, look at you like you're crazy, like you've been really fed some kind of juba juice, and you now don't know what in the hell you're talking about. But that comes from an ignorant mind, a mind that do not think, always dwell upon belief and faith and hope. And I am afraid of the fact that around the Trayvon Martin tragedy, we will lose sight. We will fail to take advantage of this experience so that we can move our life forward and backwards to where we come from, which is the motherland, Africa. We will not experience freedom, justice, opportunity to live in peace and harmony as long as we are away from the motherland, Africa. But you mention Africa, to most black people, they go to frowning. Their nose turns up as if they're smelling something unpleasant. all of those are nothing but signs of complete self-ignorance. Being without the knowledge of who we really are. So when I see black people mobilizing and rallying around the tragedy of TRAYVON Martin, it makes me wonder, have we stopped to think what it is that we really see, what it is that we really need in order to prevent this type of situation from ever happening again to our children.
And in other words, what you're saying is that there is a group of people and leaders who formed this rally, and what they're rallying for is to find a solution to this particular problem, so that we can all feel better about it and the family can feel better about it, knowing that justice has been brought to this situation. But at the same time, we have a much bigger picture to look at. As you said, resurrect the mind that we came here with. And you also said not knowing who we are and which we came and which we come from. And then you also said what it is that we have accomplished. I mean, what have we accomplished, and how can we bring back that spirit to know that we are a great and royal people beyond today, beyond solving and bringing justice to a situation, but going back and find out who we are and what we need to be doing right now collectively.
Chief Osiris, do you want to go ahead and comment on that? Because I like to chime in on what he was saying and what you said before what he was saying.
Well, you know, it's all depends on and is based upon, you know, learning and knowing what it is that is needed for us to do that will prevent the type of situation and incident that snatched out young TRAYVON Martin's life and many other young black girls and boys in the past, and will continue to go on until we focus in on resolving the fact of what it is that we need. And we need a solution, a found solution, if you will, that will forever protect our children and our life as a family together. So until we include that into our plans whenever we are out demonstrating and marching and crying and yelling for justice, what we are crying for and yelling for will never become a reality to our black life, because we are not doing the appropriate things required for us to do in order to obtain what we said we are seeking.
To make it that way. That's right.
So you're not going to hear this coming from the so-called black leaders. You're not going to hear this type of information coming from those blacks who have been westernized in their education, who cannot think beyond the borders of America and Western civilization, believing that what they have been taught in those institutions is enough to save the black nation. Not so. In order for us to be able to become qualified again, to be who we really are, which are divine beings, we have to dismiss everything this devil has taught us. Everything. Meaning the mental process that we now uses to cause us to claim we are knowledgeable and aware and educated, we have to dismiss it. Because it's all a lie.
So the PhDs and the DDSs and all the big degrees and all that, I mean, are these our leaders that should know this, or what are you saying about that? Because they've been to school.
They do not know this because the PhDs and the DDs and all the other alphabets they wear beside their names, they are no more than controlled slaves.
Mm.
And the information they regurgitate to our people is no more than what the oppressor have fed into that mind we are now using to give the information we're giving to our people, which is inadequate.
Mm.
That is my point.
Mm.
I don't care how educated you are, you don't have the credentials, the mental credentials and qualifications to disperse the type and quality of information to our people that would cause our people to become excited, to become rationally emotional to the extent that they would make a decree that no longer will we allow our black lives to be disrespected.
All right then. Well, we'd like to definitely thank Goddess Isis for setting up this interview and for being the spirit here that have stood behind this whole conversation. And I believe she had something that she wanted to add. Can you go ahead, Goddess Isis?
Okay, thank you, Brother Hassan, and thanks again, Chief Elder Osiris. And we need to talk about the blockers, okay, the blockers that are blocking our people. Umar Johnson has a video out called Black Elite, okay, and they who are largely responsible for the lack of progress among our people. So TRAYVON mother, let me go back. Those elite blacks, they are the ones who are comfortable, complacent. They have no real complaints because they're the PhD wearers and any other degree wearers, okay? They got what they was aiming for, so they're comfortable. TRAYVON mother and father, they have the spotlight. They got the spotlight on them, but they don't have the divine, intelligent information they need to do what you're sharing with us, Chief. TRAYVON mother and father seems to be surrounded by so many so-called black leaders, from religious leaders, both genders, the Al Sharpters, Jesse Jackson type. They who are not speaking to TRAYVON mother and father, not speaking the way you are speaking to us today. And as long as TRAYVON mother and father do not have the divine intelligent information, the divine solution you are sharing with us today, for us all, we will not obtain a divine solution. And the sacrificial lamb, as you call TRAYVON, will get us our divine solution. But they're surrounded by blockers.
Well, that's their tactic. I've seen it over the years, over and over again. And I think I mentioned that in one of my most recent posts. Mm-hmm. As I was sitting here listening and watching TRAYVON's mother give her most recent spiel on what and how she feels about what happened to her son, I could immediately detect that she has been compromised.
Wow.
That the surrogates of the oppressor has gotten to her. So it becomes our responsibility as black people to take control of this situation regarding what happened to TRAYVON Martin and elevate it to the level whereby it would be representative of our activity in pursuit of freedom away from America. Because as long as we remain in America, you can expect more and more of these type of situations to occur. And then what? Are we just sitting around waiting on a black child to get murdered and so that we can put on our walking shoes and begin to cry out justice again when justice never comes to our doorstep? What's wrong with you black folks? We need to deal with reality in reference to our life. Our black lives deserve our respect in the way that we've been acting up until this day and time. We have been the most disrespectful toward the black lives than anybody. So it doesn't matter to me in terms of who you are and where you come from and what you claim to believe and the education you may claim to, because I know that your education does not extend beyond the borders of those institutions that have a history and a record of oppressing and enslaving and colonizing and colonizing black African people. So how can anything of any positive result ever come from that type of activity, that type of frame of mind? So you get those who comes on the scene attempting to speak with such a large volume of vocabulary to the extent that it have you to know that they are not speaking to black and poor people, because I'm of the mind that the purpose for communication is to be understood.
Wow.
So we as black people always attempting to impress the oppressor, especially those claiming to be leaders and so-called educated, now have spilled over into the arena of entertainment and the athletes and so forth. All of those Negroes has become enemy to the black nation. So it behooves upon true black nationalist minds to come to the realization that there are four enemies in our camp. You have the Caucasian, the Arabs, the Jew, and the Negro American. And I am suggesting that the most potent of those enemies happen to be the Negro American within our midst. And we will not reach the plateau of freedom and justice not until we come to the realization that we have to deal with the Uncle Toms, with the civil rights pimps. We have to deal with those Negroes who are always feeding our people lies and actions of deception, no different from the true oppressors themselves. So yes, we're in a hell of a condition here in America and throughout the world. But here in America, the black people who are here not by choice, we have the opportunity to serve as trendsetters to all black peoples in the world. And what do? We succumb to the will and the becking of those with a history and a record of oppressing, murdering, and disrespecting our people. So, hell no. Not until the change of mind take place will Africa and African people be able to taste the nectar of freedom and justice.
All right, then. You know, I'd like to just take a station break here. You're live on WACPtv.ning.com. Stay tuned to WACP, or we are Creative People. And we're talking live and direct with Chief Elder OSIRUS. And if we would give him titles, I mean, we could never stop, because this man does nothing but speak the raw and the real, honest to goodness truth. You know, so that being said, and taking this short station break, I'd like to add that recently, a few months ago, we had an incident liking to this, which was the Troy Davis execution. And as a result of the Troy Davis execution, we had a number of people coming out of the closet declaring that they are the 99% and the 1% is the problem. Can you speak to this, and can you also give us what it is that you would have us do that would be different from the 99% or the protesting that's going on right now with our young brother Martin. So can you speak to that, please, sir?
Well, it is apparent that in a capitalist system, the poor outnumber the rich.
Yes.
And the well-off. So if we are relating to the 99% as being those who are not capitalist qualified
Mm-hmm.
to purchase those things that will make life more comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
then they are listed among the 99%.
Okay.
And if we reduce it to have it to mean that we are only concentrating with black people, which is my only focus,
Mm-hmm.
then I guess you can transfer that 99 and 1% over into the black world.
Yes.
And when you do, yes, you will get 99% of black people who are in need of life necessities, and it is the 1% of those Negroes who are preventing black people from having the desire and knowing the need of what it is we need to do in order to become flourishing and prosperous in life. So when we continue to aspire to be just a tool within the confines of America, then what we're doing is saying that we have no desire to be free. We have no need for justice. That we are comfortable in being the mental slaves of our oppressor here within America, because that is the only level that you're going to ever reach. Because this devil has constructed a social structure that is likened to our ancestors' pyramids. The devil they are. And they know that the strength of the Great Pyramid of Giza is its base. And what he has done is reversed it. Therefore, he's now at the apex of his social structure, and there is where the strength, power, and economic wherewithal lies. And at the base of that social structure, you find black and poor people, the one that is holding it up. So my thing is that not until black and poor people come to the realization that we need to organize, we need to mobilize ourselves without having a profane mindset of believing that we need the 1% to guide us, to point the way, because they aren't going to ever do that, whether it's within the family or without. And those 1% who are within and those 1% who are without, they are allied to each other. So they're all the enemy of black and poor people. It doesn't mean that black and poor people do not have the ability to think, to reason, to criticalize their method of reasoning to the extent that they become creative in thought. That is what is required in order for us to come to know what it is we need to do as a people who have been for the last few thousand years under the hands and the leadership and the and captivity of those who oppress and disrespect the black life. The time is now for us to cut that cord, to sever that umbilical cord. And I was wondering in my meditation as it was revealing to me, is it, could it be this what the Mayans had foretold and saw pertaining to what need to be the end of the world and what had in mind the black world? Yes, it could be, because we are now living in a time where there must be a renaissance to take place. There must be a reawakening of the black nation. And the Mayans knew that when that giant awakens and began to rise, there would be a newness of the day, because it happened to be the black nation that is qualified to bring about peace and prosperity upon this earth. Now, if you don't know the value of the black life and where it comes from, then you won't be able to understand this I'm sharing with you. And you have some black Africans who takes the position of their westernized education in believing that it's psychotic to believe that there are beings that are much privileged than others. And I'm here to let you know that I'm not psychotic, and I know that black people are not human beings, but we are divine beings because we came out of the loins of our ancient cosmic divine first way ancestors, they who were goddesses and gods, divine in their way of living. And the proof of the pudding is all of the monuments that they have left to prove who they were. And we have become so blind to the extent that we cannot interpret the information and the physical structures they left as a sign to us as black people, to let us know that never look down upon your blackness, because that is the closest thing to the image of the divine essence.
All right.
I'm speaking about.
All right, then. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I'd like to remind you that you're tuned live to WACP, the place to be, for we are creative people. WACPtv.ning.com. And we're talking with Honorable, this man, if you listen.
Just a simple man, my brother. Just a simple man following the spirit of the Honorable Marcus Garvey.
You heard him.
The incarnation of the Honorable Marcus Garvey.
You heard
He
him.
is my teacher, my spiritual father.
You heard him.
He is the only true prophet among the black nation in the present day time.
All right.
I have some more I'd like to share.
Yes,
Do you have the
speak.
time? Okay.
This is Goddess Isis. Speak.
Honorable Chief Elder, you and I both know one particular person in Orlando, Florida, I won't call their name, that can connect you to the parents of TRAYVON Martin. And I will do everything I can to see to it that you have some type of communication with the parents of TRAYVON Martin, because they don't have this information that you're sharing with us. And once you share this information with the parents of TRAYVON Martin, and they do not heed to what you will share with them, I'm just going to ask this question. Is it right to say that the parents of TRAYVON Martin unknowingly do not care about TRAYVON, self, or our people? That's just the first part, okay? The black woman is the divine symbol for our divine solutions, and when she's being compromised, we will not get our divine solution, okay? Because a nation will rise no higher than its woman. And the destiny of the black African woman is the destiny of the world. She is the savior, divine savior for our people and the whole world. And our people need to know exactly why there is an indictment to destroy our people. And as far as the divine value of the black woman, it cannot truly be defined in a religious setting, in religious speakers. Because to be in the religious setting only makes her a servant a servant to religion. We cannot be divine beings held down by sheep and wolf clothes in a religious setting. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Honest
thank you.
Icy. Yes, indeed. One question to you, or one statement I'd like to make in 2 words and get a response from you. And those 2 words are Jesus saves.
The most damaging words to the minds of black people. Jesus serves as the forerunner to black folks' suppression. When you're dealing with religion and religious deities, you're dealing with a weapon designed to destroy the black mind. Because, and I know many black people are not going to want to hear this, because when you deal with religion, all religion is an enemy to black people. All religions come from the minds of the devil. The devil, Satan, Lucifer, being your Caucasian oppression. So when you become so habitual to the feeding of Jesus, all that symbolizes is that you are now functioning under the control of the oppressor's mind. And life is man, and man is everything to life. And if you're not in control of it, and if it is not of high divine quality, you might as well consider yourself dead. So when you're dealing with TRAYVON's mother, and you see her turning a corner at the influence and coercion of the 1% within the black family, whom I have established to you to be our main enemy, then it is not based upon she doesn't care. It is just based upon the fact that ignorance reigns supreme within the minds of most black people. Now, if and ever we should ever cross paths, and I am able to share the divine truth that has been revealed to me with her, and she chooses to not accept it, then it would not be anything new to me, because the first way ancestors has informed me that most of the black people of the 1% in particular despise the divine truth. They are not in search for the ultimate truth. They rather continue the profane teaching that comes from the oppressor as they feeds it to our people. And it is that type of a meal that have black people to become suicidal.
Wow.
Literally suicidal. So no, my brother, all that you see happening pertaining to the mobilization and the rallying of black people, unless it is based upon the foundation of divine thinking, it is, as the old saying go, a house setting upon sinking sand as a foundation. It'll never stand. We will never go any place. We will never be anybody of our own true stature. We must come to the realization that the cry for reparation is our strength. It is the ark of our salvation, and yet most black people runs away from the issue of reparation. Because you know why? It symbolizes and it represents the institution of child slavery. The very institution constructed by the very people we now worship. We now spend our lives attempting to change our image to become just like. Black folks are in deep, deep trouble, my brother. And we run around here as if freedom is next door to us. Oh, what a pity and a shame. How sad the black world has become, not realizing at one time we were at the pinnacle of respect. We were at the pinnacle of freedom and justice. We were with the tools that qualified us to introduce to the world a divine civilization. And yet here we are today at the bottom line of Lucifer's profane civilized structure. Lucifer means those people with a record and a history of oppressing, murdering, mutilating, raping, and disrespecting the black life.
Chief Elder, you know the root cause. If we never know the root causes of something, no one is asking why. Why? Why are they destroying the black race? No one I hear asking that question. If we don't know the root causes, this will continue on and on. They don't know the value, the divine value we are. So why are they destroying the black race?
Well, you know, the root cause is to preserve the reign of the present power structure that now serves to be in authority in the world. It's that structure, it's those people who represent that structure who knows exactly who black people really are. They are the ones that set eyes upon the divinity of our ancestors, and they became really jealous and envious of those people. And they made a commitment to themselves, unto death will we turn the tide, will we transform these people to become as we are and we become as they are. Oh, yes. So the cause is the fact that if we should ever rise again, obtaining and retaining our divine mind, Lucifer fails. Lucifer will fall. The oppressor will no longer have the power, authority, and control over the lives of black people. And that is their motivation. That is their reason and purpose for always attempting to minimize the importance of the black life.
All right, then. Well, let us remind you that you're tuned live to WACP, the place to be, for we are creative people. And we're speaking live and direct with our Chief Elder Osiris and also Goddess Isis. Stay tuned for the best and the rest of your life. And we talked about some solutions, and we talked about what is. Some of the solutions that I heard was we need to organize, we need to mobilize, and we need to cut the cord. This would be a renaissance taking place. Can you elaborate some more and open up our hearts and minds about what time it is? What's this period that we're in right now? Everybody talk about 2012. I mean, Mayan calendar and all of this, a whole bunch of numbers and things. But on the for real, raw side, what is this 2012 all about? What time are we in right now?
Well, we're in a time of need to utilize our divine mind. You know, when you're dealing with the calendar representation of 2012, that's not an accurate time frame. You see, 2012 is connected to the beginning of the coming of Jesus, meaning when the Caucasian first introduced Jesus to the world. So that's a false time. What I am reminded of is that this devil is so cunning.
Yes.
Until it requires a divine mind to deal with him.
Yes.
And the reason why you see the life of black people in the condition that it is in, and Africa in the condition that it is in, it is all because the lacking of our original mind that we do not have to use to be able to confront this guy on a level whereby he will understand. He knows your potential. He knows the black potential. He knows that he is no match for the black life when it is functioning, when it is revolving, when it is vibrating on the axis of divinity. So no, he's always is going to lead you in the wrong direction on a slippery slope path. Because his life depends on it. See, again, I cannot overemphasize, my brother. We are totally out of the loop in terms of knowledge of knowing who we really are. And this is not boasting. All right, this is not self-aggrandizement. This is the reality of our situation. We are the results of nature's design. And nature's design is in liking to that of the divine essence, God. And the divine essence, God, is of the ingredients of what we refer to as darkness. And the devil described the divine essence to you, and you did not have the mind and do not have the mind to recognize it. When he described the God that he was referring to as being omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscience, meaning that, it is an all-powerful, all-seeing, all-knowing force of energy. And the only entity that matches that description is darkness. And the only people that is upon this planet today that matches the image of that divine essence, where are they? Happen to be black people. The people with a pigment. Shade resembles the majesty of darkness. So, we are totally unaware of the esoteric knowledge that our ancestors left with us. We are totally incapable of utilizing the gift, the mental gift, that qualifies you to be able to do remote viewing, astral travel. We look at that as some form of voodoo, a hoodoo. That's a reality. Hell, the devil every day has a contingency within the CIA attempting to master the art of remote viewing, astral travel. That was just an everyday thing with black folks at one time. We still have the gift because we still wear the DNA from whence it comes. We just have lost the ability and the method of how to call up those ancestors. I am so privileged to be able to be in the company And in communication with those first-way ancestors, I oftentimes visit them. I oftentimes see what is happening and what will happen down through the channels of time. But
Hello? Hello?
Well,
Hello?
I can hear you.
What happened there?
I believe his line must have dropped off.
Okay, what do we do at this time?
Okay.
I can call him back, but you got to stop everything.
No, I can keep it rolling, and if you can get him back on the phone with me, still on the phone, that would be great.
Okay, one moment, please.
Okay. Well, we have, there it is.
Okay, you there, Hassan?
I'm here.
okay.
Okay, Chief, something happened. The line dropped on your end.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Hassan, take it from there.
Okay. Well, we're back live and direct talking with Chief Elder Osiris and our co-host, also Isis, Goddess Isis, from the WACPtv community. We were talking about TRAYVON Davis, and we were talking about it's time for our people to organize, mobilize, and cut the cord, the umbilical cord that we've shared for so many years. And as you know, when you have a baby, the baby's new, just came here, it's attached to something. That's called the umbilical cord. And for us to cut that cord, that means that we're independent, we're free, and our spirit, soul, everything has its own energy. So we're talking with Chief Elder Osiris, and we were getting into some deep information. And our word to him was Jesus Christ, and he was elaborating on religion and how we must find a way to communicate in oneness without the religion, or if you have the religion, put it and keep it in your pocket or closet, because basically that is the division of all of us, which is a problem. So our next comparative words in this inquiry is the word reparations and the word equal distribution. Can you compare those two words and give us what you believe should be done in terms of fairness among our people?
Before you do that, Brother Hassan, I need to know if Chief Osiris completed what he was saying before he was cut off on the phone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And if he's not, what he was saying is vital and essential that we know, and maybe he can start again and complete it. Can you?
No, I can't pick that up because I was in a zone, and once it was interrupted,
Yes.
as you know, I cannot go back.
Okay.
Unless it comes, back to me.
Okay.
Right. I had left self.
That's right.
So I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don't be, Chief. Don't be. I understand.
That's
okay.
right.
Okay, now, concerning reparation and equal distribution of the wealth. The equal distribution of the wealth is capitalist socialist jargon, which is not connected to the free thinking of a divine mind. Reparation is about restoring, repairing. It's represent freedom and justice for a people who once had the privilege to experience it. And most black people misrepresent the issue of reparation, leading black people to believe it's all about a check, an individual check, when it's not. And that reparations belong to us, the children of our enslaved ancestors. Not directly. Reparation belong to our enslaved African ancestors. They are the ones that endured the hardship. They are the ones that went through the valley and the shadows of death so that we can be here today to make sure that freedom and justice come to their lives. Their energy lives I'm speaking about. So that in and of itself places a obligation upon the children of those ancestors to forever, until succeeded, demand from the oppressor our enslaved ancestors' reparations. That's who it belongs to. We haven't done anything, we the children, to merit that level of payment. So when we are dealing with reparations, we are honoring the energy of our enslaved African ancestors. And it becomes an honor to us, it should be able to place the demand before the oppressor without ceasing until such a royal and loyal debt is paid to our enslaved ancestors. And once it is paid, not one dime is to be spent within the confines of America. The reparation receipt must be used for the mass exodus of the children of our enslaved ancestors, along with our enslaved ancestors within our DNA, to take them home to Africa. And we, the children, have the right to become the next state to be established on the continent of Africa. That in and of itself will assure freedom and justice to come to the black life of African people, because once that state is established, the job begins to reclaim the continent of Africa. And there is so much I cannot share with you over this line. I'm just speaking in generalities as we go. That is why I keep emphasizing there's a need for true, serious-minded black folk to come together behind the walls of security so that we can adequately discuss, plan, and implement a strategy that will forever free our children and the lives of black people everywhere.
Chief Osiris, if we can get the ear mind of TRAYVON's parents when they're in the spotlight and inform the parents to use the ultimate surprise weapon and tool the oppressor is not expecting from us, and that ultimate surprise weapon and tool is reparations. Now, we can get them to start the chant and tell the people that are rallying and marching and everything to chant reparations now. That's all that needs to really be said, because, as you shared with me before, there's no need to keep informing the oppressor of what they did. They know what they did. So the bottom line is pay the reparations now. We know what you did.
You see, that's what makes the mobilization and the rallying that is going on among black people so important. But you see, there has to be organization within the framework of the black nationalists. And there is a method to all of this madness that must be implemented. You know, it's really not totally and solely dependent upon the TRAYVON family because, you know, as I stated earlier, I see them being compromised. I know the evil of liberalism. I know the tactics of the so-called black elitists. That is why they summoned her before the so-called Black Caucus, to have her with that feeling of elevation and responsibility. But it is a responsibility given by a failed aspect of the black family that they are surrounded with. So even if I am able, and many of us with like minds, to have an audience with TRAYVON's family, there is no guarantee it would be successful in terms of what the success we are seeking. And we must be mindful of the fact that the evil and racism of the mainline media knows exactly what it's doing. And the moment they see the divine truth coming on the scene, they will have a tendency to cut their lights and their cameras. That is why I share that we must not become beholden to the mainstream media. We must begin to organize on the street, mobilize the people on the street, and have them to come together, and that is where we will discuss and plan the strategy needed for us to be able to retrieve our enslaved ancestors' reparation. Now, if the mainstream media would like to record that, that's their business. It doesn't matter to me. All that matters to me is the organizing of black people on the level that is being disrespected.
All right, then.
And that is where the power of black folks lies.
Also, Chief, would you like to quickly elaborate on what Geraldo Rivera said about the hood he caused TRAYVON's death?
Well, you know, I'm not surprised at that. Those are the old tactics of the white liberals. You know, they are deceitful. They are hypocrites. They are not friends to black people. I would communicate more quickly with the white separatists and conservatives than I would before the white liberals. They are the true deceivers. They are the one that constructed the institution of child slavery. They are the one that benefits from the ignorance of black folks' mind. So Geraldo was just revealing what's in the minds of all white liberals. And to make the point that the hoodies is what killed TRAYVON, what can be more preposterous than that? I mean, you know, as I stated in one of my pieces that I released, there was a time, and many times still is, it's a scar, when they attempted to denigrate the dreadlocks. The same kind of rhetoric Geraldo was spewing out, they spewed it out about the dreadlocks. So you cannot be mindful and dependent upon what white folks say about black folk. That is why you need to form the opinion about your own life and know what it is that you need to do to get away from that type of atmosphere and environment. Because as long as we are confined within such an environment, we maintain the enslavement of our mind.
WACP, the place to be, for we are creative people. Live and direct on a conference call interview with Chief Elder Osiris and Isis, our goddess Isis. Stay tuned for the best and the rest of your life. I'm your host and tour guide, HASSAN. Now, getting to this point, Chief, about the atmosphere and the time in which we are living in, there was a time when people who lived in the cold, they were seeking overcoats and fur coats and all different types of gloves and earmuffs and all different types of things to keep them warm because it was cold. But that climate, which was cold all year round, shifted and turned into being warm all year round, all the time. Now, those people who were seeking to purchase overcoats, if those people continue to seek to purchase overcoats and the winter has dissipated, there's no more winter, then what would you say about those people, and how could you relate that to voting and the lives that we've lost in pursuit of this vote, and the people who have gone through all different types of changes for this right to vote?
Well, you see, number one, if you're wearing an overcoat and it's hot, that's the depiction of a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, grounded in ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to voting is a method and an act of deception.
All right, now.
It gives off the false impression of involvement.
Yes.
Of decision making.
Yes.
You have to understand how the oppressor has constructed his system.
Mm-hmm.
And who it is that is in control of it.
Mm-hmm.
The pawns of whom the oppressors view to be has no power,
Mm-hmm.
makes no decision.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, the president we now have. You got black folks believing that voting is what put him in those white folks' house.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Most Obama was selected.
Yes, not elected.
Not elected. The moment that he was selected, then the apparatus of voting went into play to give the false impression that you are the one, the voters are the ones that is making the decision.
Although we fought and died for this.
Yes, we are not realizing that you played no part in deciding who the hell is going to be that you're going to decide about.
Wow.
You see. So, in a capitalist system dominated by evil folk, there is no justice or freedom for black people. Because as it now stands, our confinement in America verifies that we have no power, no authority, no control over anything. And the Honorable Marcus Garvey has taught us that a race without power and authority is a race without respect. Who is it in the world now that sit on the apex of disrespect. Black folk.
That's right. When you add it up, black folks are like Samson, and also like whoever that was who held up the whole world on their shoulders. Who was that? Atlas. You know, I mean, that's the black folks. If poor and oppressed people stop working tomorrow, I would give this whole system of greed and the 1% and the elite and all like so, I would give them at least a week, and everything would be turned upside down and bottom side upwards. You know, I mean, I would give it at least a week, and you wouldn't have to work again ever, because we made everything to where if we shared every car that's sitting on lots and all different for sale and whatever, and then everybody would have a car. You know, I mean, we've done that. We've made it that way, but we ourselves have not realized that we're free, and we continue to work to uphold something of an illusion for another something that's an illusion called money. And none of this is based upon anything but our own labor. And all the thing that we have to do is just stop working, and we'd own everything. I mean, speak on that, please.
Well, you see, the reality of that situation, what you're saying is true, but here's the truth, divine truth of that situation in the form of a question. Do you not know that the oppressors have reasoned that out way beforehand?
Wow.
And have put within his apparatus safety blocks to prevent you from doing what you have not reason to be the most sane action to take?
And it's easy. All you got to do is stop, you know.
Yes, but you see, he has constructed this thing in such a way, his structure in such a way, until you are totally dependent upon his structure. This is what I keep sharing about. We've got to dismiss ourselves from this structure. We've got to free ourselves from this system. Look, there is no such thing as no black community development, no economic development in America. The man would never allow it to be. You black folks aren't going to ever rise to the pinnacle of power and control, having authority in America.
In America.
To the advantage of the filthy rich to have you to do so. He needs your poor behind, to hold him up. So the way to defeat his butt is to, you ever notice that in a basketball game, right?
All right, okay.
When the player on defense is guarding the one on offense.
That's right.
And the one on offense kind of leans back so he can feel the defense of the opposing player.
That's right.
And I think they call it pulling the chair out from under you.
Oh.
You know, if the one defending the offensive player just move all of a sudden, and this offensive player is dependent on the field of the defense, all of his weight is on the defender.
Shifted.
And the defender moves all of a sudden, and the player falls. And my point is that we are holding up the oppressor.
That's right.
He is moving based on how he feels us against him.
Yes.
We're depending on it.
Absolutely. 100%.
If we would dismiss ourselves away from him, he'll fall.
Does that have anything in a relationship to let my people go?
Well, it depends on where you're going. You know? Yeah, that's a old religious song that we say. But, you know, we all need to go. But where? You got, a lot of black folks who don't want to go no further than cross the street out in the suburbs.
Yeah.
And that's not the answer to our problem.
Mm.
And let me go means to experience
Mm.
the beauty of freedom.
Now, here's one, Chief, that I was asked the other day by a little girl on a bus. We were doing a bus tour in Florida, and this little girl got in my face. She's about maybe 4 years old or so. She got in my face and asked me, "Do you believe in the Bible?" I mean, she didn't. It was other people on the bus, but she didn't. She asked me, and she didn't say, "Do y'all believe in the Bible?" She asked me, "Do you believe in the Bible?" And I said to her, and I had to come to myself quick because I didn't expect anybody to ask me a question like that, especially a little girl. So
it sounded like a question, but she was putting a challenge.
I'm telling you, all the way. So I came back and I said, I try not to believe in anything. I try my best to know.
Yes.
And therefore, there are some things that I know about the Bible. Now, I didn't take it any further because, it wasn't the time or place or whatever. So that's all I could give her. So I'm sure she will remember that for the rest of her life and maybe take it to the next step.
You're darn right, because you push her very wisely. All right? You answered her question by not answering in the way that she expected you to.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So, but yet your answer was more appropriate than any other answer that could have been given. It far surpassed a yes answer.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So we have to be mindful of the way that we utilize the power of reasoning.
Wow.
The power of thought. Okay? The power of rationalization and being logical about things, because those principles are the only principles that will lead you to the divine truth.
Mm-hmm.
Anything other than that, you're just shucking and jiving yourself.
Mm.
And that is the bridge that most black folks are on now, a shucking and jiving bridge.
Wow.
You ever seen those black folks who always attempting to make fun out of our oppression? Can't never give you a rational, reasonable response to the cause and the effect our life is now experiencing. They always want to make a joke out of it.
Wow.
Those are black folks who are terminally mentally ill.
Mm.
And well, I'm a hush there. There's so much that need to be said in regards to those 1%ers within the black family.
Yes.
See, and it can't be said in the public domain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So maybe at some point in time, it's going to dawn on black folks. We need to just come together, ban white folks away from around us in our private discussions. And we just go at it with each other until we come out with a found agreeable solution that would take us home. Mm-hmm. Other than that, sit back, buckle down, and continue to experience the wrath of the oppressor.
Now, when you say black folks, now, what if we have like an Adam Clayton Powell in the audience, and we don't know his history, and we just looking at him, and he really ain't. And if you're looking at him, he ain't no black man. I mean, compared to just looking with the eyes. So how do we deal with that?
Well, the divine truth separates and sorts out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're really espousing the divine truth, the devil will not sit comfortable in your presence.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that he or she open their mouths,
Mm-hmm.
you would be able to tell where they stand, who they are.
That's right.
You see, so don't concern yourself. The main thing we need to concern ourselves with is continue to share that which is divinely true with our people. And the way that we could get more mileage out of that is to summon our people together so that we can give them the full story of our being, how we came, out of whose loins you are, and how you mastered the knowledge and the talent and the ability to navigate the stars.
Sounds like a renaissance to me.
Our children need to hear that, you know?
Yes. Yes. Renaissance.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I'm sure that Goddess Isis had another question for you. I can hear that she do.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. No, I really don't have a question. I was going to end with my perpetual gratitude to have Honorable Chief Elder Osiris in our midst. And I heard and read that truth means responsibility. And that is why many hate the truth. And we have heard the truth coming from Chief Elder Osiris. And now we are to be responsible people if we desire our divine solution. What we need to do to get our divine solution cannot be done over the internet, which is a divine window of opportunity to connect us. So all I have to do is end with wake up black people. Our divine dispensation time for our solution is now. And that's all I need to say, and thank you again.
All right.
I will end with letting our people know that I have nothing but love for black folk. And I humbly bow to each and every one of us. And even when I'm critiquing our spirit, it is nothing that is meant to be demeaning in a selfish way. I only do so in order to serve as the mirror to your mind with expectations and desire that we will see ourselves as the oppressor have made us to be, which will generate and motivate us to become as we once were, divine beings.
All right, then. And thank you very much. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for listening, those who are listening in the audience. And before we close, we'd just like to do a review to see what all we have covered. And we have our Queen Isis aboard, and we'd like your assistance in this, because we want to review everything that has been said tonight so that we can get a closed caption on the concept of freeing ourselves, freeing our mind, the concept of what day and time it really is. So
you need me on this, my brother. I'm being summoned,
Yes. Well, not really. We thank you very much, and you have a blessed one. You have shared very well.
Thanks to the both of you all, and my love runs deep for us all.
Thank you.
Hotep.
Hotep. Yes, Isis, come in.
Still here, beloved.
Yes. So to help us review on what was said, we were talking about a mind that need to return to its original source, the source from which it came. We were talking about being not a believer, but a knower.
Right.
We spoke about Jesus saves, and Chief had alerted us on that position. We spoke about reparations in relationship to equal distribution. We spoke about organizing and mobilizing and cutting the umbilical cord. A renaissance, if you please. So what did you get from this discussion, and what can you add to that list?
Well, you remember in that video with our sister from the revival of Pan-Africanism, the sister from Nigeria spoke about the mind.
Yes.
Okay? That is a must need to know by our people, because we have contributed, been programmed and conditioned to direct everything to the heart. Okay? And the heart does not do the thinking for us. The heart is only doing its job, and it's pumping the blood to keep us alive. And that's a heavy burden to put on the heart, to always throw everything to the heart. The heart this, the heart that. The mind. If we're not using our mind to its fullest, highest magnitude, then we won't know our solution, because the mind is everything. Nothing gets past the mind. Every thought begins and ends with the mind, okay? We are what we think. So we haven't been taught how to rethink. And we need to be taught how to rethink and appreciate that organ in our head. This whole show is contribute to TRAYVON Martin, our beloved brother's son, because so much has come out of his death that is a teacher for us all. So I salute and I bow to our beloved brother, who was a sacrificial lamb to bring us to the reality of what we need to think, do, and be.
All right. Sounds like a winner. So you've heard it live and direct right here on WACP, the place to be, for we are on TV.
More important, will it be realized?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Brother Hush.
yes. On that note, we want to tune in and tune out. And until the next time.